Anyway, welcome again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's cool to have you on. I just found out about you from uh,
Ivy.
yeah, from Ivy. hmm
Yeah, I played with her on FTW for a little bit.
Okay. You guys played you played at the same field, like at GE or something?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Oh
And
yeah.
where are
Are you
you based?
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, okay. It's relatively close.
Yeah, I'm not far from you guys. So I've actually been oh Jesus, look at my fucking hold on a second. My damn camera's all screwed up. Oh, I know why. Because I was the podcast I did Saturday night. I was taking my camera off, showing some stuff. Anyway, uh, so yeah, I've actually been to SS Airsoft, which is not far from you guys. But and then she was saying she's about 45 minutes away from Atlanta, and I had never heard of GE, but I guess that's closer to you guys than like Power Ops or SS.
Yeah, I mean, for me, GE and SS are about the same, but Power
Mm,
Ops is an hour or so.
okay. Did you grow up in Florida or in Georgia? Is that where
I
you're?
did, yeah.
Yeah, and
The
that's
first, sorry,
what's
the
that?
first
Go
one
ahead.
I played out was actually SS. When
Oh,
I was
really?
like, yeah, at like 9, I think.
Oh
I
shit!
got,
You were 9 years old.
yeah, I had some older stepbrothers that played, and I was like, damn,
Oh,
that's
okay.
cool. So,
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's young to get into it for sure. Hell yeah. Now, did you play? Did you like it right when when you first went?
yeah, I thought it was really fun. Like, I wasn't very good, but
Yeah.
getting into it was a blast.
Yeah. Nobody's good when they first start. You know, it's a process,
Yeah, a lot of,
especially when you're young.
and I don't think I had like anyone with me either.
Mm. Yeah, that really helps. One of the guys I talked to in Japan, he said, like he's really big into airsoft. He's got a big YouTube channel actually for airsoft, and his YouTube channel is Mayday-san.
Hmm.
And he said the first time he went by himself, and he was an adult. But I said, "Well, how did you like it when he first went?" He said, "I hated it because I got my ass kicked. Nobody talked." To me, they were all kind of in their own groups and stuff. They were like experienced players and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess they were pretty serious at that field, like almost tournament style.
Hmm.
So nobody really welcomed him in. So he came back and told his friend that got him into it, uh, I don't think I'm going to play, man. I'm going to return this gun. Like, I don't even want to play anymore. And so he just kind of forgot about it for a few weeks and then found another field indoor. Most of them are indoor over there. And went to that, and it was totally different atmosphere. Said
Yeah.
everybody was, yeah, welcome, talk to him and, hey, here, try this or do this, kind of helping out. And
Hmm.
then he was hooked after that. So
Yeah. Like at GE, it's more like a family than anything.
that's cool. It's good to hear. You know, I just saw a post. I mean, there's most everyone I've talked with, that's the experience they've had is a positive one at,
Hmm.
most of the fields they've gone to. And most fields are, from what I understand, most fields are like that. But the somebody I've talked with on here, I can't remember who it is. Somebody just posted today about like a video of two guys going full auto at each other, like 10 feet away
Yeah.
because they were pissed
Yeah.
off. And the one guy just taking it, using his gun as a bat to
Oh
try
yeah.
to hit him with it. And the post was like, this is the most, like the worst field that they've ever been to. Like there were no refs on the field. They were all out in the lobby just hanging out, bullshitting or whatever. They didn't care about what was going on in there.
Yeah.
So I guess this atmosphere was like that kind of stuff was happening the whole time.
Hmm.
So somewhere in Florida, but I was like, man, that's really unusual because most of the time, I mean, you'll have cheaters, obviously, and
Oh
people
yeah.
that lose their temper. But as far as the field goes, usually most fields are pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, personally, if you own a field and you allow that to happen, it just seems like a lawsuit or something bad waiting to happen.
Right. I mean, I can't imagine, bro. Like, if you get hit in the head with one of these,
Yeah, with a gun,
guns, yeah, that are like kind of full metal, pretty heavy or something, do some damage.
for sure.
Now, have you ever played outdoor? Do you play mostly indoor or outdoor? What do you like?
I've played mostly indoor. I have gone outdoor a little bit. I played Team Airsoft. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I'm not. That's in Georgia?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a giant field, like a couple hundred acres, I think, outside.
Holy
And
shit.
there's
Okay.
these big groups. There's like a pond and just a bunch of woods. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. See, that's how I played paintball. We rarely played on an actual field, like a
Hmm.
speedball thing. This is years and years ago. And most of the time we played it was at my buddy's property where, it was like 11 acres, just all woods. So we had a lot of freedom and it was, we just do whatever we want. But I didn't really play. In fact, I never played indoor. There's not a whole lot of indoor paintball fields. And
Yeah.
most of the time they're outdoor because of the mess.
Hmm.
This shit's so messy.
There, what? There's one field. Was it Lone Wolf Paintball? I think. I don't know. One of them does indoor speedball.
Really? Oh
Very
shit.
small field though.
Oh
But
my God. That would be such a mess.
yeah,
Like on the
but
floor and stuff.
they got turf in it, and then just the
Uh,
regular speedball bunkers. But I mean,
gotcha.
if I were to play paintball, that'd be pretty fun. Play indoors.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you ever tried it?
No, there's a couple points where I've been like, dang, like I really want to play paintball, but it's so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, especially when you're already spending money on, airsoft gear.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what do you
But
run? What kind of gear do you run now? Or what was your first airsoft gun you ever bought?
when I like the when I started playing at like 9, my dad was like, "Okay, you're into this. Like, I'll get you a gun." He ended up. I got a G&G CM16 Raider. So
Oh,
like
those.
your average AEG,
Yeah.
just really nice to get it when you first started playing. Like I had a Springer, of course, but to get like an actual G&G, I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, those are nice. We had a couple of those we got in mystery boxes, and
Hmm.
one of our buddies bought one as well. Um, yeah, those are nice. And then my son bought a ARP9, and we've always
Have
had you know, really good results from any G&G gun that we've had. They were
yeah,
always,
G&G
they're a yeah, they're good to start out with too.
for sure. Yeah, super reliable, and they're just like a great platform for upgrading.
Hmm. That's what I've heard. Now, the two that we had, the CM16s and then the ARP9, I don't think he upgraded any of the internals. Um, I'm looking out on the wall. That's why I'm looking up. He just put a bunch of stuff on the outside.
Hmm.
So, just attachments and shit. So, but we love that thing. It's hard for him. My son that bought it, he's 6'1" and 320 pounds. So he's a huge guy. He played football in high school. He's a lineman. So he buys this. Have you ever seen the ARP9s?
Yeah, I had one.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
So
they're
you know how he looks so funny when he's all geared up and he's trying to hold this thing. It's like, it looks like a minigun or,
oh
not a
yeah.
minigun, but a tiny gun when he's holding it. So he didn't really use it much. He used it a couple times, like for indoor, and he would really just use it like a pistol. He would just hold it like this
Oh yeah.
and shoot it. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Right now, I have a G&G, an SRS, and then I put a Polish star in it, a jack, and then I
Nice.
just did a bunch of external. stuff, and
Okay.
barrels.
Right. That's nice. Is
And
that what your main right now? Is that what you use most time?
yeah, and then I
Okay.
have an AAP with a couple
Hmm.
internal upgrades and a primary adapter.
Nice. Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, we the first time we tried one out, the AAPO ones, it was the first time they came out. It was like the first run, and
Mhm.
they were they had an issue with the trigger something, or no, the hammer, some kind of hammer fixture in there breaking when it would go, when you'd use it on burst or full auto, if you were
Yeah.
full auto or whatever. So we didn't actually buy it. It was a friend of ours that lives close. Well, we became friends. He actually was a viewer of our channel, like followed our channel when we first started, and we found out, he lives like 20 minutes away from us. So he's actually been in a handful of videos because he would get a new gun or a new, whatever, and come over and hey, be like, hey, you want to, do a review on this gun? I was like, hell yeah, bring it over.
Yeah.
So the AAPO one, he dropped off. He dropped it off for me while I was at work. So I was working fairly, close to his area, and so we brought it home, and he goes, "Hey, just so you know, these things have an issue with the hammer thing, whatever. So if it
Mhm.
breaks, it's fine." So in the video where when we were testing it, it broke. And
Yeah.
I said in the video, I was like, "Sorry, Todd, I had to do something to try to find one." Well, we could not. We tried to replace it, try to find the part for it, but it was
Mhm.
we couldn't. It was sold out everywhere because I guess it was such a common issue. So he ended up getting like a stainless steel one or whatever.
Was
Um,
it did it break in full auto?
yeah.
Yeah,
So my
that's
son was, yeah, he was. So we did the test on it, and then like single, semi-auto, and then just see like, chronoed and all that stuff, and see how straight it would shoot. And then he's like, well, let's try the full auto feature, but I'll just do some bursts, just
hmm
a couple round bursts, whatever. So like the third time he pulled the trigger, it stayed on full auto and emptied the mag. So, and then we were like, what the fuck? So we put a new mag in it, and as soon as you put a new mag in it and cocked it, it would just go like
Oh,
full, like we didn't know that was going to happen.
yeah.
And no, my son, luckily, my son was using it, and I raised them, like taught them how to shoot guns. So
hmm
anytime we handle a weapon, we're always pointing it when the mag goes in, you're pointing it in a safe direction, whether
hmm
even the airsoft gun. So luckily, once he pulled it, pulled the hammer back, it was pointed in a safe direction, but it dumped the mag again. Like he couldn't stop it. So we did it a third time, and it started doing it. He just dropped the mag halfway through. So we said, well, we broke your gun, Todd. So I don't know, but yeah, it was. I love the style of them.
hmm
I didn't really like the look, to be honest, like how they
Yeah.
looked.
I didn't like it either, but
It's
I mean, the
weird.
performance.
Yeah, but I love how the just the back moves. Like as far as
Yeah.
cycles, like the whole slide doesn't have to move. It's very gas efficient.
hmm
If you're using green gas, or whatever. So I did like that part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I had a high kappa before, and it's just like constantly breaking. I buy a new piece, it breaks. I buy another piece, and it was a cycle. And I was like, I can't keep doing this, and I just sold it.
I don't understand the hype with high kappas.
Neither do I, honestly.
Like
Like,
every single person I've talked to so far
yeah,
that has dealt with a high kappa and uses a high kappa, they break. All of
Mhm.
them break. Every single one.
Yeah. It's like you have to dump a big sum, like a couple hundred, maybe even 1,000, and
Right.
then you're like set. But if you don't do that, it's just gonna break.
It's such a. I guess I never. I can't understand why a lot of airsofters are okay with that kind of shitty quality. Like when
Exactly.
you spend, because when these guys, so I didn't know anything about airsoft.
Mhm.
Um, so I got into it because my son's started playing just like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was coming out of an illness, so I started the YouTube channel, and I need something to do, kind of thing. So uh, I was like, "What airsoft?" I had no clue. So when they started getting into it, and they would buy a gun, and it would break, and I was working on their guns for them. I would take the gearboxes apart and shit, and I'm watching videos on how to do this stuff. Well, anyway, they would get a gun and take it out one day, and it would break. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Oh, it's only a we expected it to break the first time because it's only a $250 gun." I'm like, $250, bro. You can buy a real steel pistol, like a for real, 9 millimeter pistol for $250, and the thing will never break its whole life. You
Hmm.
buy an airsoft gun for 250 and you expect it to break? I don't get it. Like they were so everyone I've talked to, they're so accepting of airsoft guns breaking.
Hmm.
I'm going, why? Why? Like, don't stop buying this stuff and start putting reviews, shitty reviews on this stuff, and they'll start getting better. You
Hmm.
know?
Like, for the most part, besides like the high kappa, all of my guns have been working good. And then when my jack got messed up because I had it for like 3 years, I gave it to my tech buddy, gave him like $150 to fix it, and then it's gonna be good for another couple of years.
Oh, that's good, especially if you use it a lot.
Yeah, like I've always been worried about what I do with my guns and how I treat them because I'm
Right?
not trying to drop a couple hundred every month.
No, it's ridiculous. When I I talked to there was somebody I talked to like when I first started doing these podcasts, um, like reaching out to a lot of different people, like over a year ago, I guess, about a year ago, and I remember the first person I talked to, excuse me, that said, "Oh, I probably got about $10,000 into airsoft gear."
Ease.
I said, "What?" I mean, it totally blew me away because I've never really had a hobby. After when after I got in the military, we started a family. I never really had a hobby besides video gaming.
Yeah.
That like I wasn't into golf. I wasn't into I don't know. I was into guns, but once ammo started getting expensive, I'm like, well, I'm gonna stop shooting. I already know how to shoot. I mean, I have fun shooting it, but I'm not dumping $300 every time I want to go shoot.
Hmm.
For ammo. So I never really had a hobby that I had to put a lot of money into. So when he said that, I mean, I was like floored. And then I started talking to more people, and they're like, "Yeah, I got about 3 or 4 grand into airsoft." I'm like, "What? What is going on? Holy
Yeah.
shit!" Like all these people is, the airsoft gear is there. It's out of control. And now with the mil sim stuff, they
Hmm.
do the night games, the nods, the night vision stuff
Yeah.
is very expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
There's
just
some guys down in Georgia. They'll go to like a CQB field with their night vision, everything, and then they'll be like, "Stop flashing your flashlights," because it messes with their night vision. It's like if you're playing CQB with your like real steel stuff, then just don't complain.
right. Well, listen, when these guys go to Milsims, uh, if well, on the night game, it's kind of split down the middle. There's guys that wear the nods, and then
Hmm.
there's guys that are against them, like not really against them, but they're like, I'm not spending that much on night vision, and it's kind of useless. It does help, but
Yeah,
if you use a bright flashlight, now it does give away your position, but you can blind the shit out of them. And so I've talked to
exactly.
a couple guys that are like, no, we blind the hell out of them. So it's but if nobody has a flashlight to shine on them, then yeah, you're easy, easy targets for sure. The one guy I talked to said, so for night vision, I asked him about night vision, and he's like, well, for night vision, for nighttime play, um, there's guys that have night vision, and then there's targets, and that's it. Because people that don't have night vision really have a hard time,
Yeah.
finding against people with night vision.
I mean, I never understood the whole like oh, I have to get the same kit in tan and multicam and woodland and all this stuff. It's like if you have a setup for CQB and you have a setup for like Milsim, unless you're doing like Milsim West where you have to have uniforms, there's no reason to be getting like 7 different outfits.
Yeah, so the mill sims, this is mostly, well, this is really all that these guys have gone to. So
Mm-hmm.
they do they've gone to Third Coast Airsoft. So in South Carolina, GTI, that's where a lot of the mill sims are that they've been to. They've been there like 8 times. I've been there twice. And it just does press pass, like taking pictures.
Yeah.
And so the mill sims, they have specific uniform requirements so that you can tell who's the enemy,
Yeah.
basically. So, but as far as the and that's it. Like you don't have, there's no, it's just, hey, you have to wear this kind of camo, and then the other
Yeah.
team has to wear this kind of camo. But so you can't run all black because that's what the admins wear, like the refs on the
Mm-hmm.
field for mill sims. But they'll go, like these guys get ready for milsims, they'll be getting real steel or military, the high end stuff.
Cry.
Yeah, when they don't have to.
Like I stick like the Walmart Wranglers.
Yeah.
I'll rock those. But I mean, if you just, I mean, the BDUs I get changing colors, but like if you're getting like multiple different chest rigs, plate carriers, just
Oh
in
yeah.
different colors and they're the same thing, there's not that big of a reason to.
Yeah. Well, that it's so what I found out is, milsim, obviously there's a lot of expense with gear,
Mm-hmm.
clothing and gear, and then um for indoor players like Speedsoft or CQB,
Mm-hmm.
it's the high kappas. Like they're constantly dumping money into their high kappas. So like it's so funny. But yeah, they I've talked to a lot of speed softers recently, and talking about tournaments and stuff like that. Have you ever played in like an
Uh,
official tournament kind of thing?
yeah, I played in a couple. I played for a few years, just like tournament only. And then recently, within like the past 2 years, I've kind of stopped. I played in like 2 or 3 speed QBs from when I stopped, but I probably did like a tournament every month for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh wow. Okay, so you're very experienced with it. So what did you play the Speed QB
Hmm.
hosted ones? Okay. And have you ever heard of CSL?
I have. I've talked to the dude when he was CQB Rush. I talked to him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna reach out to GE." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. I would love for have to have CSL do GE events because some structure would be great."
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's so I just did a podcast with him, Keegan, that started CSL, and I was talking about, he's talking about doing, when he starts the season after the winter, that
Hmm.
he's going to be going up. He's got a lot of events planned for up and down the East Coast.
Hmm.
But the big thing I was asking him was, are you and Roy from Speed QB, are you guys planning on doing like a national tournament,
Hmm.
East and West or whatever, trying
Yeah.
to to find out who's the best Speedsoft team in America? And he's like, well, we don't have any plans yet, but we would like to. It just, we have to agree on certain rules and that kind of thing. But from what I've heard, it seems like even the tournaments, so that it really depends on the refs.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because I was talking to Houdini, he's a part of HSA. I'm not sure if you know that are familiar with
Oh
that
yeah.
team. All
Yeah. I
right.
talked to them.
Okay. And so they had a few months ago they had a tournament where they did, and one of their guys, they got points taken away
Hmm.
for they like a rule, like they didn't even break any rules. The guy came around, it was 1v1, or ended up,
Yeah.
this is one person left on each team, and the guy came around the barrier and on HSA's team, And when he came around, he saw the guy and shot him. Well, ended up being, because the guy was squatted down, shot him in the back of the head. So
That was
I
a
guess,
deduction.
yeah, they took 25 points away from
Yeah.
their team because, and these guys were bitching. HSA were like, bro, you cannot do that. Like the ref did that, and he's like, we're allowed to shoot in headshots,
Hmm.
even like there's no engagement distance. So anyway, that kind of stuff can't happen. Like it shouldn't happen in
Yeah.
tournaments. And that was one of the things that me and Keegan talked about is, having maybe better trained refs for these tournaments. When it
Yeah.
really counts, you need better refs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a couple years ago, when I was doing SpeedQB, I was like standing on the sidelines, and just I saw some blatant cheating. I turned to the ref. I was like, "You see that?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You gonna do anything?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, well,
Oh my God.
they just don't care. They're not getting paid enough."
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, that's got to be the most frustrating thing. See, when I played paintball, like I said, we never really played, we didn't play officially. We never played tournaments or anything like
Hmm.
that, anything that really mattered. But we didn't have this issue of not calling
Yeah.
your hit. It was, paintball hurts worse. Well, it really does hurt more. Most of the places you get hit.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, airsoft at fairly close range, like your knuckles and your hand,
Yeah.
that hurts a lot. But paintball, it is I mean, these things are flying, they're 300 feet per second, and it's a
68.
really
Well,
big, heavy ball,
yeah.
and it splats everywhere.
Hmm.
So, and you flinch because it's a heavier, round
68.
hitting you.
Yeah.
Right. So, we never had this thing. So when when I started this whole thing, and I'm talking with people, and I'm looking up videos and stuff, and I see all these people talking about call your hits, and then I see the rager videos that started because somebody didn't call their hit, and
Hmm.
I'm going, Christ, we never had this in paintball, like never.
Yeah.
Maybe once ever, in a great while, but like it never ended in fights like these do
Yeah.
because
It's just like if you're getting all hot and bothered enough to mag dump some random person over cheating, then there's probably an issue.
right. Oh, it's crazy. So, well, the other thing too is like, I've seen some videos where guys were indoor and pretty far away and peeking out, and this one guy was peeking. This one video I saw, the one guy was peeking out, and he shot this guy in the back, but the guy had one of those small packs on his
Hmm.
back. I'm not sure if it was for a tank, if he was running HP, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
he had a small pack on, and the guy that was taking the video, he's like, he looked at his friend, and was like, "Do you see that? I shot him, and he didn't call it." And then he shot him again in the pack. And I'm
Hmm.
going, maybe the guy didn't feel it because he didn't flinch. He didn't look around
Yeah.
like, oh, he didn't act like he got hit.
Exactly.
And I'm going, bro, that's not cheating. What? Like,
Yeah.
you
Shoot him
know,
somewhere else.
right. Like, uh, yeah, see, we didn't have that issue with paintball. So I was really, I guess, confused as what the hell's going on? Why are people saying call your hits? And then I started seeing all these videos and talking with people about how this happens. I'm like, oh, okay. We need a
Yeah.
better system. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with cheating, it's like if I'm hitting you and you're not calling it, then I'll just keep shooting. And if it gets really bad, then I'll go around and bunker the person.
Yeah,
But I mean, if there's that big of an issue, talk to a ref, and hopefully it will get situated. But sometimes they don't.
right. Yeah, sometimes they don't. Yeah. For me personally, uh, in a tournament, like where it really counts, that
Hmm.
would be it's kind of like fighting words. I'm not gonna say I would attack them on the field, but bro,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find you later, okay?
Yeah. Like in tournaments, it gets like heated a lot, especially for certain CQB, SpeedQB tournaments. The cheating is just it's real bad.
Yeah, that's not good. Now, how did you get into playing in tournaments and stuff? How'd you get on a team?
When I was probably like in seventh, eighth grade, I saw SS posting like SpeedQB night, and I looked at the field. I was like, like that's really cool. It's super small. You know when you're hitting people. And I was like, I commented like, I'm looking for a team, and this team Sanctus. They do paintball now, but they were like, oh, we'll pick you up. So I played in like my skinny jeans with my stock Air V9, and I had a blast.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And they were like, "Hey, you're good enough to be on our team, so we're good to go."
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Now they did they teach you how to, the ways of speed soft, like,
You just got to figure it out for yourself
okay.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But the best way to get better is to play against people that are better than you. That's
Absolutely.
because like that's how you learn your angles and like where to put your body.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much anything in life, right? Like sports or whatever, uh
Mm-hmm.
lifting weights, running marathons or whatever. You always you want to learn from somebody that's better than you
Mm-hmm.
to to get better, obviously.
Yeah.
You know.
Some people at CPQB they love a good group like a party of rentals, and then they'll play and they'll just like dick on these poor little rentals, and it's just like you're not helping anyone here.
I don't understand how they have fun. Like
Exactly.
the people that do that, I don't.
Exactly. It's like you're ruining their experience, which is killing the sport, and then you're not getting any better by just like hitting them point blank and overshooting them.
Yeah, I don't see how that's satisfying in the end.
So,
Like when they go home that day, like, yeah, I fucked all these dudes up, man. I was great, like,
like I shot these 12-year-olds in their hoodies.
uh,
So, do you play Milsim mostly?
so yeah, I've never played airsoft.
Really?
Never once played airsoft. I play, so, I started the channel. Two of my sons and their friend started playing like 3 or 4 years ago. Uh, at the time, I was coming out of this illness. I was paralyzed for a while with an illness. Yeah, just out of the blue. So I was totally healthy, totally fine, and then within a 4 day period, I had started to have symptoms like my hands and feet didn't work right, and then I couldn't walk. So, and that lasted for quite a long time. So as I started getting better, where I could walk down the hall and actually get into here and sit on the computer for a while, I was trying to look for something to do. So I started a few YouTube channels before I started the airsoft one.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys started playing airsoft, and I was like, hey, let me film all your stuff. It looks cool. The guns look cool as shit. And I had no clue that airsoft had progressed the way it had,
Yeah.
because the only thing I remembered from airsoft was when my kids were like 10 years old, and I
Mm-hmm.
got them. I did the same thing everybody else does, got them a little Springer pistol and stuff.
Yeah.
So when they said they're playing airsoft, I was like, what? The thing that little kids do? Like, what are you talking about? And because I kind of thought like, oh, it's like Nerf guns, whatever. So when they brought their new airsoft guns in, and they were like, M4 style with, they had already taken the orange tip off,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all decked out. I was like, what? That's an airsoft gun? Holy shit. And then we'd go out in the backyard. We have, a little bit of land, and it's pretty private where we're at. So we just go out in our backyard and shoot. So we go out here and test them. And I'm like, this is really cool. So that's when we started the airsoft channel. I was like, here, let me film this stuff and I'll put it on YouTube and we'll just see what happens.
That's
And
really impressive to gain such a following without like playing. I think that's awesome.
yeah, well, so what I'm doing now, I've only been doing this by myself, running the channel by myself for 8 months or so, less than a year. The way our channel started, what we were doing was mystery boxes. So we were doing unboxing and then reviews on the guns that we would get in those boxes. And
Mm-hmm.
there was four of us on the channel. It was me, two of my sons, Colton and Chris, and then their friend JP, who got them into airsoft. So that was the majority of our channel. That was all of our channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would go to, when they started going to Milsims, They would film, GoPros and all that kind of, gameplay stuff. So we have a handful of gameplay videos on our YouTube channel, but that's how it started out, and that's really where we gained a lot of followers in the beginning. Actually, that's still kind of where we're growing from those unboxing videos, and so within the last year, all three of those guys got really busy. Their work schedules changed, and JP has a son, toddler, so they're all really busy. So I was like, hey, when are we going to get together to do a video? And they're like, hey, it was really hard for us to get together, get our schedules worked out. So then I started this podcast out of the blue, just started talking to people and recording it. And I was like, oh, I'll just invite somebody on here, whatever. I just started reaching out to people.
Mm-hmm.
And when people started saying yes, I'm like, okay, cool. And this is it totally, the podcast thing was a spontaneous kind of, I didn't really think about it in the beginning. It was just, hey, let's talk about this stuff. And then it goes, so when I talk to people, they're like, so how long have you been playing Airsoft? I'm like, I've never played. And they always give me the funniest looks. And they just sit there like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I never played Airsoft, but I run an Airsoft channel. And so it's kind of, it's funny. But anyway, that's how the channel started and how it progressed. And so I still have a lot of leftover. I'm able to walk. I'm out, I'm working and stuff like that. But I still have a lot of leftover like nerve damage stuff. So to handle, my fingers don't work right still. So it's very difficult for me to safely manipulate like a real steel gun, or some of these guns and stuff, like using the magazine release,
Mm-hmm.
those buttons like that take kind of like strength in your fingertips. It's very difficult to work. So I mean, I can do it here, where I can set it down and kind of press on it, but
Yeah.
in a firefight, when if I go play, it just honestly, I've had so many people ask me, what so when are you going to play? When are you going to play? Why don't you go out? Well, you can just stand behind a tree and shoot, whatever. To me, I could. I mean, I'm okay enough to
Yeah.
walk to a certain spot and just prop up behind a tree and shoot, but that's not fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm
It's not
a
the experience. You're not getting the full.
No, no. Like I'm not going to do that just to say, oh, I played
Yeah.
finally. I'm not going to have fun doing that. I'm kind of a hyper person. I was very, very active before. I worked a lot of overtime. I worked kind of a physical job. I worked out, exercised and stuff all the time. So I don't, I'm not, I'm not one to sit back in the back and just plink.
Yeah.
That's not fun I could, but it's not fun to me. So I'm not
Mhm.
going to do it until I can actually get out there and
Yeah.
do how I want to do it. So yeah, eventually I will.
A big thing for me. I mean, some teammates I have, like they're more like just stay closer to the back and just aim and get them. But I personally, I've got to go up, get low, like really low, hide behind stuff, and like sneak around. And that's really the best experience for me.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I've talked to a lot of girls on this podcast, had them on as guests, and every single one, no matter where they're at. I talked to a girl in South Africa, UK, Canada. I mean, just about a ton of different Slovenia.
Mm-hmm.
Every single girl airsofter I've had on here is 100% want to be in the front, run and gun, like
Yeah.
no chill, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so funny because they've all gotten in, once they got into it, because there was a lot of them that were like, yeah, I really didn't want to get into it, like they didn't really know much about it. Like maybe their boyfriend was in it or their brother or something like that.
Yeah.
And so when once they went, 1,000%, like gung ho as shit, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm. Like
and because of that, I think they get better. They're really wanting to get better. every time they go.
Hmm.
Whereas like my sons, a lot of guys I've seen, like especially at Milsims, they're kind of going for the social experience, like the
Hmm.
camping and the whole kind of, get together kind of thing. They don't really care if they get good at it. They're just like, yeah, it's fun, but yeah, whatever, And every woman I've talked to is like, fuck that. I want to be in the front. I don't want to be,
Yeah.
I love it.
No, I played against Ivy a few times.
Yeah,
She gets really aggressive and into it. It's really awesome.
that's cool. Yeah, she was fun to talk to. I just talked to her the other day, and I reached out to her a while ago, and oh no, a few weeks ago, and the first time we set it up, like there was a storm that night,
Hmm.
and so her internet was all screwed up, so we couldn't do it. Well, then when she finally got on here, so towards the end of that podcast, when I was talking to her, it hasn't come out yet, so it'll come out
Hmm.
next Friday, like the day before Christmas Eve. So she was like, so as I start wrapping up, she's like wringing her hands like this. She's like, "Oh my God, my hands are so sweaty." She goes, "I was so nervous the whole time," and she didn't act like it. Like she didn't seem nervous at all. Uh,
Yeah.
and I said, "No, you did great." But most people, when I ask them to be on here, they are a little nervous. But
Yeah. No,
kind
when I got the call, my pulse, I was like checking my pulse. I was like, damn. Uh,
that's
no,
funny. Hey, Do you know on Instagram that Tech City girl,
yes.
uh, Crisis? Okay, so I had her on the podcast a while ago,
Hmm.
and she texted me like 2 minutes before we were supposed to start. She's like, "Oh, is this a video thing or whatever?" I can't remember. I was like, "Yeah, it's video." She goes, "Oh shit, okay, hold on, give me a minute." So we started the podcast. She goes, "I totally did not just clean my whole room in like 30 seconds."
Yeah.
It was funny as hell. But yeah, she was fun to talk to. But she does a lot of indoor, mostly indoor
Hmm.
stuff,
Yeah.
speed stuff. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of the females I've talked with that really like the indoor.
Yeah.
You know,
It's really fun, especially like at a field like GE. It's basically just one big rectangle. Then you got different buildings.
yeah,
So there's not like at SS they have full buildings with walls, and it's like you can just sit in a corner or stuff.
right,
And it gets dark, real dark in those buildings, so you just can't see a thing.
right. All you can see is your tracers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we went to when we went there. We went to SS for the I think it was in August. The Call of Duty event that they
Hmm.
had over there. So we went over there. I actually have a picture with I got a couple pictures with Alex Zedra and the guy that plays Call of Duty Ghost, the character,
Hmm.
Jammer Actual, and so I had him and Alex sign the gun. So I took an M16 that we had,
Hmm.
M16A1, and I had them sign the stock. And then I don't know if well, if you played for FTW, Spooky
Yeah.
Airsoft.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
her.
so I had Alexis sign it, and I had her and her husband on separately, and
Hmm.
so anyway, I met up with them over there, and then so when I went in, we went to the viewing area to watch some of the game, and I was like, yeah, it was really dark in the one corner. It's like they have the big light on the one wall, but
Yeah.
most like back corners or whatever really dark. But you could, from viewing it, you could see tracers going everywhere. But almost everybody in there was wearing dark clothes when they're playing, so it's got to be difficult to play in those kind of areas.
Yeah. I played there a couple times before they redid their lighting, and it was even darker. Like
Really?
almost, it was like you go into a building, it's pitch black. You can't see like the walls or the exit or the entry. It was an experience for
Yeah, I'm
not
sure.
really me.
Yeah, the I talked to a guy the other day, and that's in Ohio, and he was saying he plays this place called MK Airsoft in Ohio, and it's indoor. And I said, "Oh, is it like a speed soft kind of thing?" He goes, "No, it's like 30,000 square feet. The building is huge." He goes, "There's two giant like building structures that they put like two-story
Hmm.
buildings in there that they built in there." He goes, "There's a full school bus in there." It's giant. I was like, holy shit. So I'm actually talking to the owner of that field this coming week, and because I want to see, uh, I'm trying to get some videos and pictures and stuff set up for that to check out the inside of that field, you know. But I think that's the biggest one I've heard of so far, like indoor.
There was a field like just like that, the indoor, just a giant lot with two-story like house frames, and then they had a whole size like school bus, or they had a it was a big like military truck in it,
Yeah.
and they set it up as Nuketown. So that was
Oh shit. Oh, that's awesome.
uh,
Okay.
they moved outdoor when it
Jeez.
was established. It was a very fun field, limited rules.
That's cool. Now, have you traveled outside of Georgia to play?
I played at Insane Airsoft in Chattanooga when they were still an indoor field, but that's about it for outside of the state. I'd love to
Where's
try.
that at?
It's in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. HSA's out in Tennessee. That's where, well, at least Houdini is. He's in Tennessee. I can't remember what field he plays at, actually. I think he plays at Shot
Nashville.
Zone or Nashville. Yeah. Nashville Airsoft and then Shot Zone. I think they go over to Indiana and play at Shot Zone as well.
I'd love to play Nashville, N1, Hollywood Sports, and there's some other places. I'd love to play HGK too.
Right. Yeah, there's a handful. I've heard so many good things about Hollywood sports. It's like it's a really big field or
Mhm.
area, I guess, and they do all kind of different setups out there. Yeah, the have you seen the Shot Zone
I think
videos?
I've seen some video. Do they have a Speed QB field?
Yeah, it's like it's a speed soft setup. They got the it's real bright in there. They've got the inflatables
Hmm.
and the turf.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
think HSA Scotto. Did he post a video? I saw that recently,
yeah,
and they got the
yeah,
whole like, whoop. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, Ruby's been out there. I'm not sure if you follow Ruby Gold
I
on
don't.
Instagram. I
I'm
am
not
Ruby
sure.
Gold. Yeah, he goes out there quite a bit. Of course, Houdini, and then I think there's a couple others, but the field that I've been hearing a lot about lately, the indoor field, is Extreme Airsoft up in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, I'd love to play at that field. That's.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Like everyone wants to play up there.
I mean, Georgia has some. We have some pretty good fields compared to like other states. And these fields have been established for a couple of years, a good amount of time before a lot of the other states started to establish fields.
Right.
Like SS has been around for like ever.
Mm-hmm.
GE has almost. I think it's probably close to the amount of time SS has been around. And
No
then
shit. Yeah, see, that's wild because that's when I talked to Ivy the other day, that was the first time I had heard of GE. You know, but I mean, it does not. I guess that's not saying much because I don't know. I only find out. You know, most of the time I find out from who I'm talking with
mhm.
about different fields or different guns or different equipment. Uh, so I, don't- you know, a lot of times people be talking to me and they'll say, "So you know this gun or you know this field?" I'm like, "No, man, I really don't know much about airsoft." They're like, "Oh." I'm like, yeah, just tell me, you know, like I don't mind, you know.
Mhm. There's probably like 5 or 6 good established fields in Georgia. Well, at least in like the upper side of it.
Right.
There's some good indoor and outdoor fields up here or down here.
Yeah, that's cool. Hell yeah. So what do you are you planning on doing some more tournament stuff?
I'm on a break right now. I want to come back and play, but I'm more interested in going outdoors.
Oh, okay. So like the full on milsim type of stuff?
Uh, I mean, like I'd love to do a Stonebreaker event. I think that'd be cool. But just playing like outside in like a wood, like a forest or something.
Gotcha.
leaning towards.
Well, Stonebreaker would be a good one to go to. That's in March, I think. Yeah. And Third Coast Airsoft, that's who sets them up. That's who
Hmm.
runs those ones. And these guys, I went to the Stonebreaker this year. So, months ago, back in March, whatever. That was my first mil sim. And, I was taking pictures, whatever. So, and then I just went to Iron Dagger a couple months ago. I think it was October. And those both, or I guess both of those were Third Coast Airsoft events.
Hmm.
They put on a lot of different events. They're really good, the way they're set up, especially for somebody starting out. Because now Iron Dagger was a 24-hour continuous. But the good thing about their events is the even though it's 24-hour, you can be on the AO or you can go take a break, and then go back on. So whereas like a Milsim West, once you start the game, you cannot leave the AO.
Hmm.
So it's once you leave, you're done. You can't come back in. So the and a lot of Third Coast events will have breaks. So Stonebreaker is one that a lot of people start out with, like in this area or fairly close to this area. If they want to do Milsim, they'll start out with that one. There's a lot of people. Like this Stonebreaker last time was 700 people. So 350 on each side. And so you never run out of people to shoot at, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's action the whole time, but you can take breaks, and they only play for 2.5 hours at a time. So they'll play 2.5 hours, then you take like a couple hour break or hour and a half break or something, and then play another 2.5 hours, take a break, whatever. So it it's kind of cool for somebody that's just starting out.
Hmm.
It's a good setup that way.
I mean, there's only so much you can do to spice up CQB at the same field after you play there for like a couple of years. So I used to pull out a rental and just play with that, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Just going to the same field with my Polar Star and the whole kit and just playing against the same exact people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. That yeah, it would get old. I don't know, unless if you get into competitions, tournament
Mhm.
play, that's the only thing I can think of that would make it more exciting.
Yeah.
If you're playing that same style of play without tournaments, I don't. Yeah, it would get really old
Yeah.
really
Like that's
quickly.
why I absolutely just love the tournament scene. Like going and playing Speak be at SS monthly was really fun. And
Yeah,
I'm down to do it again. But I've been on a break for a bit, so
yeah. So are you going to school, or
yeah,
what
I'm
did you what are you
in high
studying?
school.
You're in high school still? What
Yeah.
do you graduate this year?
Yes. Or
Okay.
2023.
2023, but this
It's
school year.
nice.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So this summer you'll graduate, and then what do you got plans on? What are your plans after?
Hopefully, probably stay in state for college and probably major in business.
Okay.
I'm not really sure about airsoft plan for now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, once you get busy, we had a couple guys on our Discord that once they graduated high school and started college, they haven't played since because they had
Mhm.
such a high workload on their, they were studying a lot of stuff in college, taking a lot of classes, whatever, credits and stuff,
Yeah.
that they just didn't have time on the weekends.
Hmm. I mean, I
So
have some teammates that are in college, and when they come up on like breaks, sometimes they'll play. But besides that,
now, do you want to start your own business?
I don't have any big ideas.
Okay.
I would love to work in the industry, but um,
Get into what now? You were cutting out a
get
little
into
bit.
the airsoft. If I were to work for like an airsoft company, I think that'd be pretty
Oh,
awesome.
okay.
Opportunities or something.
Yeah, yeah, they are. That so one of the girls I talked to, she's in Cali, like Northern California by the Bay Area. She is call sign Blue. I'm not sure if you follow her on Instagram.
But light, I think.
Yeah, she actually works at Evike at one of the stores up there, and so she loves it. She works in that field, and she plays, well, because she works there. Like her and her boyfriend will go and play, or fiance, they'll go and play all the time
Hmm.
right there. So it's like, hey, you want to come play after I get off work? Because they're already right there.
Yeah.
So kind of.
Yeah. I think Sam, Airsoft Sam, works at Extreme Tronics. I think, or she did. I'm not sure. I think it'd be cool to do something like that.
Yeah, I talked with her as well. Her and then oh, there's somebody else that I talked with that works. Well, Spooky used to was helping out at SS. She worked at SS for a while. Oh, Little Miss Airsoft works at Full Auto up in New York. So yeah, so a handful of them that work in that field. Yeah, that's cool. Hell yeah! Now, did you get into sports at all in school?
Yeah, I played lacrosse shortly. I did cross country, track, flag football. But
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Now, what's your favorite that you played so far?
um, I mostly I like things when I'm good at them. So I had a good time doing cross country, even though I hated running.
Gotcha. Okay. Were you naturally good at it?
No, but when I was younger, it didn't matter to me because they didn't care that much, like if you were good or not. So I was able to gain some speed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one for a lot of people because running long distance is it's kind of a make or break it kind of thing, with people.
Mhm.
It's either you're going to push through and be able to, and then there's some people that are just like, no, hell no.
Yeah,
This is way too hard.
it's a mind thing, I think.
Right. Yeah, I agree. My daughter went into my oldest daughter went into the Air Force after high school, so she was never into sports.
Mhm.
She did dance, growing up, and then she thought about getting into volleyball, but she never did. And then she wanted to go in the military, or she went in the military. Well, before leading up to that, I was like, hey, you better start running. Um, you know, get some, a little bit of endurance anyway, at least a mile where you're not dying. So, and she always had a hard time with it. She didn't have the biomechanics of running. Like, when she started running, and I had them running when they were like little, we'd play baseball and stuff. I taught them how to play baseball, whatever. And I'd have them run around the whole field, just to warm up or whatever.
Mhm.
And even as a little kid, she just didn't have, she was real, it wasn't smooth. She was real heavy footed and just
Mhm.
couldn't get that rhythm.
Yeah.
Because once you hit that rhythm, if you don't have to fight the whole time, after you're warmed up, for me, it varied 10, 15, 20 minutes of running, um, was when I would get my breathing, once you get that it's almost like a runner's high
Mhm.
where you don't really feel it. Like your breathing is in perfect sync
Yeah.
with your steps, and you don't feel it, and then you can kind of get a little bit faster and faster without getting out of breath.
Mhm.
But you kind of have to push through that, you know,
Mhm.
to where you get that, where it settles down.
Yeah.
And she was never really able to get that. Now she forced her way through it, and would run farther and farther, and and did well in boot camp, physically. So, but she hated it the whole time. She's like, I just
Yeah.
am not built for running. She's like, I suck at it. It's hard for me.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
When I was younger, like middle school, I was like dead set on joining the military. But that's the extent
Because
of it.
of friends or family or something.
Um, my grandfather was in it, but that wasn't that big of a motivator. I really just liked like the physical fitness and the discipline and all that. But um, I'm not. I wouldn't want to go to like basic and go through Hell Week and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do it, but
Yeah,
and
if you're
then
in cross country, you could do it for sure.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was fun talking with you. Now, where can people find you on online?
My Instagram is at airsoft.bella. My YouTube it's just Bella, I think. So when you search it, you got to go to the settings and go to channels. But that's those are all my socials.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and I appreciate you. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.